Hardships and Coping Tools. Eventually, out of necessity, I developed a philosophy that nothing is permanent, and so you must value, use, and enjoy whatever you have, whenever you have it. But I still believed in stashing away acorns because of so much uncertainty existing in my life. Because we did not have any saved money or food or things, like I described earlier. We were hand to mouth most of my preteen childhood, even living in cars. I learned how to control or suppress my emotions, distractions, and even physical pain, in many instances to isolate my essence, mind, my soul, from the hardships of having no home, few possessions, food scarcity, on top of just near-death experiences and poor healthcare like that scarlet fever. In a way, I was like a turtle duck. I let the negative things and feelings wash over my feathers, and when things were just too threatening directly, I withdrew literally into my psychological, spiritual, willpower turtle shell. Dr. Garcia's window glowed. Your turtle duck metaphor is clever. I am glad you found such an effective tool so early in life. I concur. You had to find coping mechanisms. Some children create imaginary friends, even spirits and guardian angels. Some believe in them so completely that they actually persist into their adult life as a low or even high-grade psychosis, while many others experience minor neuroses. Coping mechanisms can be protective, but some can become destructive. In fact, some coping mechanisms employed over very long periods of time become infused with your identity and become extremely difficult to unlearn, or find techniques to circumvent their harmful effects. Coping mechanisms to overcome adversity are not easy. And again, we should watch for clues if they may have also introduced some harm to you as well, much like some medications have undesirable side effects. His window stopped blinking. My real world sucked. And so I had to forge Richard's world, a place where my imagination ruled and my reality could be counterbalanced by my sense of identity and purpose, an ability to fight and ward off those things that would pull me down. Had I not formed my very early childhood mental and emotional defenses, I am confident that I would have had very little success in my life. I would have had a very different journey than what I have actually had. Perhaps more like my siblings, whom ultimately were failures in personal and professional endeavors and had little social or family success either. Their lives were likewise hell difficulty, but they did not have my defenses. And arrogantly, or perhaps ignorantly, they thought they were so capable and remarkable that they would simply thrive and be given their dreams and wealth without trying. What's the big point I'm trying to make here? I think that needs emphasis here is that I created a psychological bottle that I could put bad things inside and cork it and place it high up on an imaginary shelf to collect dust and be forgotten. Importantly, anything in the suppression bottle cannot hurt me, it cannot affect me, it cannot influence me. It can do nothing to me. We can talk about this later as much as you want, but I'm going to tell you my suppression bottles were absolutely critical to my very survival in life. It may seem simple, even absurd to you, but I felt like I had to create most anything positive or good in my life. Even as a kid, life was hard. Life was always hard. Life is hard right now. Not only did I suppress negative things, but I also amplified positive things, like in a magnifying glass. I find myself living for tomorrow because the past and the present were not fun. They were not kind. Tomorrow represented my promised land, my nirvana. Otherwise, a super golden future and safe place. And anyone that offends or violates what I see as righteous and good would be swiftly and mercilessly dealt with, eliminated, such that they and no other would dare drift to evil or wickedness or greed or selfishness. Richard's world was my protected sanctuary. It may have been the most core mental defense I have ever possessed. It does not matter that it was not real. It matters that it was where I could withdraw to. It protected me. And I fear my neurodegeneration in my later years may have eroded much of my early formed brain defenses, and I may now sometimes fall victim to those old emotion-suppressed bottles that are now breaking, and all those things are running and overflowing everything without any control. My sluice gates are just flooded. I think that's what's happening. I don't know. Caselli chuckled and grimaced. I did not think he looked remotely professional or objective in that moment. His eyes peered down towards me through his tilted wire-rimmed glasses. He spoke. Let me understand, Richard. You did not like the real world so much that you went beyond fabricating imaginary friends. You fabricated an entire imaginary world so you didn't have to live or deal with reality. I answered, yes, I suppose in a way that's true. But it was not like I saw or heard or lived in Richard's world. I know it wasn't real. Richard's world was a mental construct to insulate my thinking and actions right there, right then, in the moment, so I could focus on my future and not let those harmful, hurtful things, present or past, limit me. That's it. Any other interpretation would be wrong. I survived because of Richard's world. It was a great and powerful and good tool, and I am here because of it, I'm sure. Caselli appeared moderately satisfied with my answer. He spoke. Okay, that may be true. Without your extreme self-isolation, you may well have fallen victim to your bipolar disorder or other mental issues earlier in life. I know that is not the kind of thing you want to hear, Richard, but the truth is important to see and reflect on. We must look into the mirror of reality and see things as they really are. There is little point in belaboring this, Richard. Please proceed. Caselli seemed dismissive of my explanation and seemed to be saying that I was not seeing reality by saying that I should reflect in the mirror of reality, his mirror of reality. It felt like the devil pressed his thumb on my life difficulty scale to tip its balance in his favor, and thusly, definitively not in my favor. In this way, the devil forged my life's challenges, making me live in hell difficulty. Even worse, people who entered my life seemed to be blessed with the halo effect of hell difficulty clouds, and the shadows they would cast down over them as well. I had to be great. I had to be great in order to overcome my and my friends and my family's challenges and difficulties. Only in greatness Could I be strong and capable enough to help myself and others? I concluded so early in life it was the only way. I needed to become a knight of justice, a knight errant questing the world for righteousness and justice, to help others have a better life and defend good people and good ideas with an unrelenting vigor and vigilance. Sure, I did not have all those fancy words as a kid, but that is exactly how I felt. A paladin is who I became. If I was not always that true knight, crusader of justice, a crusader of karmic justice, as I would later call it, I would live a life as a modern-day paladin. Of course, evil has a way of being attracted to good, and it seeks to foil its mission of justice. And so being a paladin would mean a life of fighting for right. But it also meant I could fight. It also meant I could survive. I would use ideas like suppression bottles or paladin identity throughout my life and evangelize them and the ideals behind them with coworkers and friends. I would put a coat of arms above my chair at Mindscape just to show how much I believed in chivalry and honor. It actually fell down one day. If I had been sitting in the chair, probably would have split my skull and ended my story right then. But I wasn't. I was down at Strategic Simulations Incorporated. Saved my life going to SSI. Continuing on. So, these suppression bottles, paladin identity, all those other techniques I described, they are all critically important to my life success and focus. I asserted the past is behind, the present is temporary, the future is today. Future is everything. So what does that mean? Well, the past is behind us. It's in the rearview mirror. We know what happened. The past are facts, but they have no emotional influence over us in the present. The present is temporary, with anything happening right then in the instant immediately becoming the past. So acting and decisions in the present is really about the future and where you're going. So the future is everything. The future is built on the present and your knowledge from the past. So there you have it. Built in the present, knowledge from the past, but no pain or emotion from the past. And things in the present are all about building towards the future. Candidly, I believe that kind of critical thinking and logic for a preteen is unheard of. So either I had inhuman divine genius, or God blessed me with the strength to overcome immense hardships. I like to believe that God gave me the strength and the willpower to endure and triumph. So in a way, they're both true. Paladins are God-blessed knightly champions of good with great strength and willpower. I would be a paladin with a wall full of suppression bottles to make sure I would succeed.